I was home alone one night in middle school. I was in my room, which is right above our kitchen, watching TV. I had already shut all of the lights off downstairs because I was eventually going to fall asleep and didn't want to get yelled at for leaving the lights on. So I am laying in my bed. The family dog, a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, was lying next to me when I hear cabinet doors open and shut. It wasn't like they all opened at once and then shut, but more like one after another for a few seconds. I freeze and look at the dog, who at this point was an old lady, who perked up and looked at me. I peek out my window that overlooks our driveway and didn't see anything. Now I didn't think anyone was in the house because while the dog was lazy, she was a great guard dog and she would have responded if the door opened or whatever. So after a few seconds, the dog gets up and starts moving towards the stairs, and I decide to follow, fully confident that if anyone was down there, she would scare them. I grab my softball bat and my cell phone and follow her downstairs. As we come downstairs, I notice the lights are on in the kitchen, and I dial 911 because I know I shut the lights off prior to going upstairs. When we get in the kitchen, all the cabinet doors were open, which was obviously not how I left it. That's when I noticed that the door was still locked, so I thought whatever did this was still in the house. So I quickly ran upstairs to my parents' closet and called my parents and told them what's up. They came home and obviously didn't find anyone or any trace of anyone being in the house. We still do not know why the light was on and cabinet doors were open, but we had some other paranormal-like occurrence happen around that time, so we chalked it up to the household ghost. When I was a kid and my parents first started letting me stay at home by myself without a babysitter, the large stereo we had in the finished part of our basement just turns on and starts blasting music. It was after midnight. The music was insanely loud, so there was no ignoring it. So 8 or 9-year-old me had to go down into the basement and turn it off. Everything you're not supposed to do in a horror movie, I did, and I survived. But every light in the house stayed on until my parents got home later that night. I still don't know why it turned on, but I messed around with it a lot, so I must have turned on some sort of alarm or timer or something earlier that day. That's what I'm choosing to believe anyway. Was sitting in our living room watching TV one night and no one else was home. In the kitchen, we have a refrigerator that has dual doors to open and a lot of decorations all over it, including a small magnetic chime thingy. I'm sitting there when I hear the chimes ringing slightly, so I mute the TV and listen thinking maybe a family member was home. Nothing happened, so I turn the volume back up and keep watching TV. A minute later, I hear what sounds like someone sneezing in our kitchen, and it didn't sound like any of my family voices. I tensed up and thought someone had broken in our home. I'm shaking at this point, but I'm being quiet and listening. A few moments go by and I hear the refrigerator doors open and then slam shut so hard I can hear glass jars inside it rattling. I ran in the kitchen ready to whoop someone's ass, and there was nothing. Told my family about it, and they said I was just paranoid, but we've had guests come over to the house and say, "It feels weird in there."